Hello everyone, welcome you all in this session. Myself, Assistant Professor Ritu Gupta from LLB School of Law. Today I am going to the subject of law of torts, and in which we are going to discuss on the topic of remoteness of damages. In quite simple way, when you want to get damages, you have to identify who caused you damage and how much he caused damage. So in a simple way, when you got injury or someone damaged you, then you can file case against that person and you get damages or compensation on return of them. But the question is, how much compensation can be applicable to you and how much liability can impose on that person. And what if that damage is having a remoteness? For example, there are number of transaction or number of series of consequences of that act or that damage, then how much liability can be imposed. For example, there are a number of series of acts or wrongs done by one person, then how much liability can be imposed on that person. So you can understand this one by case, Scott versus Shepherd. In this case, Mr. A threw a light bulb, through a lighted squib into a crowd. So to save that from that lighted squib, which was about to fall upon X just threw it away from him and is just going to fall on Mr. Y. Then he again tried to himself and threw it on Mr. threw it away and it fell on Mr. B. And because of that, Mr. B lose his one eye. He lost his one eye, and here now the question arises, who will be liable, because there are number of series of transaction over here, right? Who caused the damage, who will be liable, and how much he will be liable. So in that case, it held that A was liable to B because basically the act was done by A. Mr. X and Mr. Y was doing something self-help to themselves. So even though Mr. A is so much farthest from Mr. B, but because of his act he lost his eye, so he will be liable for the damages to Mr. B. You can see another example, which is Haynes versus Howard. In this case, the servant left the van in the crowded place unattended and the children was there in the van. Children doing mischief and threw the stone on the horse, and horse, because of that, just going out of the hand and he just caused injury in the street, and a policeman who going to save a woman and a children from that horse caused injury. So here, even though the act was done by the children, because of their mischief, here the remoteness of damage will be fell on the servant because of his negligence, because of his act that happened. He just left the van unattended. So remoteness of damages will fall on servant, and servant will be liable for the act of children. Here you can see some of the tests for the identifying the remoteness of damages. If the damage is too remote, we cannot hold liable that person for his remoteness of damages. The first test is test of reasonable foresight. So if the person reasonably foresee the damage of his act which can take a place as a remoteness of damages, then he will be liable for the act. So you have to see that he should know about the act, that this act might have this reasonable foresights to the other person, they may cause damages. So if this remoteness of damages he can foresee, then he will be liable. But if that damage is too remote, that cannot be foreseen, then he shall not be liable. The first test for remoteness of damages, the test of reasonable foresight, that should be a foreseen that how much this damage can be remote. The second is the test of directness. In this directness test, that person can directly foresee the damages to the other person, how much they are remote. So whether they are remote or not too remote cannot be seen over here. If that person can foresee the direct consequences of this act, he can be held liable. So if one man driving a car in a very rash manner and he hits the bicycle, and because of the consequences he hit another cars and vehicles behind him, then he can directly see the damages because of his act. So he can directly see the damages of his act. That is called test of directness. So that's in this topic, remoteness of damages, where you have to see how much you cause a damage or how much your act damage to the other person, how much it's remote or too remote. So here there are certain tests. You can see that how much you find. The first test is the test of foresee, and second is directness. So if you can foresee your damages, you are liable till you can foresee it. If it is too remote, you are not liable. Second is the direct test, when you can see directly the damages that are affected by your act, then you are liable for the. Here the remoteness or too remoteness cannot be seen. So basically, remoteness of damages means when you have to identify the how much you are liable for your act and how much you should pay the compensation to whom, then it is called remoteness of damages. Thank you.